प्रतिकरम् शस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः धृतराष्ट्रनेहन्युष तन्मे क्षेमातरं भवेत्. Translation given by Divan Girjeshwar Bhakti and Swami Srila Prabhupada. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Purport. It is a custom according to Kshatriya fighting principles that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjuna, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft-heartedness resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord. It is custom according to Kshatriya fighting principle that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjuna, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he should not fight. He did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft-heartedness, resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord. 46. Sanjay Uvacha Evam Mutkva Arjuna Sankye Ratopasta Upavisat Visrijya Sasaram Chapam Soka Sanvigna Manasaha. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with the lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaka Dhamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Padanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripātamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So, in this, these are the conclusion words before Arjuna is telling to the Lord that somehow I spoke all these words, but still my heart is not satisfied. What we see, 1 second. Hare. So, don't we see in this world like this, dear devotees? What is that? The husband, he works very hard for the well-being of the family. And when the family is not responding to what he is doing, doesn't he say like this, why this world? Why am I living here? For whom I should live? Why should I lead this life? Entire life I gave everything for all of you, but there is no return. Nobody is responding. Don't we hear like this? Or don't we see? Don't we perceive? Yes. I heard multiple people telling like this. all their life. They work very hard to take care children, to give them good education, good livelihood, but still they're not, because the children, they don't respond in the way they're supposed to respond. So obviously they will tell, why this, why that, why are we kept here, why are we kept there. This is a natural situation. If a person is thoroughly honest, will actually see this. But 99% or even 100% who actually see that, they will either engage in some other alternative. Now, that is the whole point having extramarital relationships in this world. Why? Because they're not satisfied with the family or with the person, with the spouse. They're not happy. They're not happy with the children. So what they do is they tend to develop another relation. Why? To pacify what they are missing here. That is the whole point. This is the whole reason why there are nuclear families. They're not joint families. This is also one of the reasons. Why? Because they're not happy or satisfied, because they don't want to be restricted under people, under the family members. They don't want to stay together. They want to stay away. Because what is all this? Because if they are together, then their so-called thing cannot be satisfied, because they have some requirements to be fulfilled. Those are not satisfied. That is also one of the reasons why it is very nuclear. It is designed in a nuclear way, because the hearts are very small. But here, if you actually see, Arjuna's heart is actually very big, because he's speaking or doing or dealing, all of those things on a selfless plane. It is selfless plane. Oh, no doubt the root is different, but if you actually see, it is a selfless plane. So this selfless plane is also not giving satisfaction. I'll give an example. Srila Prabhupada gives this. Srila Prabhupada says, the principles of impersonalism, they do not yield satisfaction to the heart. As the principles of impersonalism do not give satisfaction to the heart, they come and then stay. One second. Hare Krishna. So they don't give satisfaction to the heart. So what happens when it doesn't give satisfaction to the heart? They tend to stay away. Stay away in the sense, they either open up a open a school, or they open up a hospital, do some philanthropy work, or they take care of uh, children who doesn't have parents, something like that. And then they get settled. Or sometimes they become a politician. Their intention is to serve the country. Because what is happening? The happiness which they are supposed to Brahmananda, which they are supposed to receive, that they are not experiencing. As they're not experiencing that, they're trying to find happiness at different levels. So, dear devotees, please understand, the soul nature is always hankering for happiness. There is no other way for the soul. Soul cannot be happy. Soul cannot be happy. That means it is always looking It cannot be satisfied with the current state. As a person is not satisfied with his family, he is trying to develop an extramarital relation because through that he wants to fulfill his happiness. For some days he'll be happy, but after that, that will actually become a problem. It will not be a solution because obviously he's doing a karmic action and then through which he'll get reactions. No, that is the core reason. But externally he's trying to find happiness through that, but he will not get. That's why, likewise, if you see, every person is actually looking for different ways, different things. Sometimes he thinks that if I have a Camry, it's good, or if I have a big car like a Tesla, it will be good, or if I have something else, or if I do not have anything, that's good. That means he's actually looking for happiness only. Sometimes he's looking towards one object, sometimes he's looking towards the other object, sometimes he's looking towards something else. That means continuously he's been in that state. That means he's always looking continuously. Dear devotees, this is a clear indication that the Lord actually gave us, because Lord gave us intelligence through which we have to find the source of that happiness. That is the whole point of Atata Brahma Jigyasa. Now Arjuna is also in that particular state. Now he is asking Krishna why there is problem in the heart. Now I have repeated all of these things. Why am I still not happy? Very interesting question, dear devotees. We should ask this question. Instead, as Sushilpa Mataji was asking, why the children are not listening? Anyone, dear devotee, the children or wife or husband or parents, they are not listening. We need to understand how much are we listening. This is an internalization. One time, my wife was asking a spiritual master a question. Many years back. The question is exact similar question. If the children are not listening, what is it? What is the solution for that? Or friends or relatives? Friends, relatives is too far. Close family, if they are not listening, what is the solution for this? The answer for that, he said internalization. He said we need to check our heart, how much are we listening? To who? To the words of the Lord, to his principles, to his teachings, to the words of acharyas. How much are we accepting? Because if we are accepting those words, then the question will be different. You know what the question will be? The question will be, how can I serve them? Because every moment we have an opportunity. Opportunity of what? Opportunity of service. If we feel that see, that is the whole point we've been named. Why the tag at the end it says Dasa? Because we have to take that position. Dasa, Dasi. Why? What is it? What does that proclaim? That proclaims very clearly that this Dasa and Dasi is meant for a reason. This Dasa and Dasi is the moment we see, the moment others see us, we shouldn't understand, not they, we shouldn't understand that they are my Dasa. And we shouldn't perceive that I am Prabhu, they are my Dasa. How should we perceive? I am a Dasa, they are my master. Now, where this they are my master begins, it begins from the root. Krishna or Acharyas or spiritual master. If we feel if we feel we are the Dasa of them, fully, if you are convinced, then what happens? The nature will go in the heart. What kind of nature is that? The nature of dasa. Dasa means the nature of service. So when we really understand this, that I'm really dasa. For example, our son is there, is very young. No, externally, even if I offer obeisances to my son, he will not understand. Why my father is doing like this? Is it crooked? I haven't seen any of the fathers doing like that. Why my father is doing like this? He feels awkward. We shouldn't do also. But how do I perceive him in the heart? I am his servant. I might not externally tell that, but technically I am his servant. Because Lord has kept that person in my life so that I have an opportunity to serve the Lord through him. That means if I have a root relationship with the Lord, then what happens? Then all the relationships which we have here, we actually extend that relationship which we received from the Lord to all of these jivas, and through these living entities, our son, wife, children, father, mother, we are actually serving them. They might not perceive also. They might not understand this also. But from our side, we should have this understanding. Externally, if I tell I'm your servant, it doesn't look good also. It feels little awkward. But internally, we should have that feeling. Because internally, if you have that feeling, their words, I tell this dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsara will not touch through them. Please understand. You remember many days back I told this. If a person is feeling envious towards us, that's good actually. He's benefiting us. Because, because what is happening is we either stay away from them. Everyone in this world does that, staying away from them. But if we have to stay with them, how do you do? This is how we should do. The Lord is a root. And by the way, that might be our speculation also. He might not be envious also. We overthink too much sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times. It's not about us, especially about others. Because yesterday I was discussing another aspect, I'll tell that. Please hear this. If the other person is putting us down using words or different means, then the person who's actually receiving, that receiving person is thinking, oh, then this person is actually doing like this. How should I react? This is one way, right? That means he is actually nobody will perceive this in this way. Only our acharyas will tell in this way. What are they telling us is, oh, you're putting me down. Thank you. I'm grateful for you. Why? Because knowingly or unknowingly, you are taking my sinful reactions. We should feel sad also because that person is taking our sinful reactions. You're already sinful. On top of that, he has also committed sinful activities. On top of that, he is taking a topping of my sinful reactions also. He's taking my sinful reactions as a topping. It's a problem. So we should feel sad. Through the sad, compassion comes. Dear devotees, if a person really understands that I will be actually taking the sinful reactions if I am rude to the other person, then all the drama in this world, won't that be stopped? It will be stopped. But the problem is nobody will accept that. Another interesting thing is if the person is actually glorifying with heart only, then what happens is he'll share our pious activities. So I'm not talking about pure devotion. Please understand. This is about punya and papa. Right? What is happening? If he is actually glorifying us, then he will take our share of pious activities. Now, here another aspect. If he is rude to us, committing heinous acts, the person who is actually on the receiving end, he is actually little more careful or cautious about that person, thinking that this person is becoming or is falling or is falling. It is not right. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to them? He's thinking about that person. This is a little more advanced. What is that? That means the person is not thinking about himself, but the person is actually, the devotee is actually thinking about the well-being of the other person. Unnecessarily he will put into difficult state. Unnecessarily he already has karmic reactions. Why is he carrying more karmic reactions? That means the devotee is more concerned. The devotee is not envious because the person is envious. Please understand. One person might be envious, but the other person is actually on the receiving end, he can also be envious because that person is envious. This entire world is designed like that. If you are envious to me, I am envious to you. If you are trying to cause harm to me, I will try causing harm to you. That's a natural thing. Tit for tat. That means jiva jiva sa jivana. One person's life will be the life for the other life, but for the other person. One person's life will be a meal to the other person. Right? Deer will be a meal to the lion. Lion might eat for a couple of days. I don't know how many days it will eat. There's a meal. But for this deer, that is a life. So this is how this material world is designed. So a lot of people, if they complain about why this, why that, why like this, why like that, a lot of people will complain, especially devotees also they complain. Because through that complaining, what is happening, they're not really understanding or seeing the hands of the Lord behind it. Do we see Prahlad Maharaj complaining? Do you see Narada Muni complaining, oh, why, my dear Lord, why have you kept me? Why have you given me birth to a maid servant? You should have given me birth to a queen who's there in the. He's not complaining any of those things. No one is complaining. Who is complaining? The person who really doesn't understand what Krishna consciousness is, he's complaining. Because his state of consciousness is that. Likewise, if you actually see, Arjuna is telling all of these things, but his vision, his understanding is totally different. What is the vision and understanding? There is a difference in the vision and understanding. What does that mean? That means Arjuna has seen the background that there is Dronacharya and Bhishmadev and all his cousins. The moment he sees that, the vision changed. Up until that point of time, what is his vision? His vision is to fight. What is happening? A circumstance or situation. That means Lord will keep the devotee in that situation. Through that situation, what is happening? The consciousness is changed. Why the consciousness is changed? Because there is a problem there. For example, let's say, how do I know that if I'm attached to that thing or not? Let's say there is a loss of 10 lakhs in money. Just giving an estimate. If you are attached to too much about that, we think a lot about it. What do we do? What do we do, dear devotees? We think a lot. Exactly what Arjuna is doing. He's thinking too much. No doubt that is coming from the scriptures only. But in the background, his heart is not in a stable state. No doubt he's thinking about the well-being of others. But that is not in a calm or peaceful state of consciousness. Very clearly, That's why Krishna is telling Kutastha kassan vidam vishrame samupasthitam. Anarya justam viswargam. Akirti karu Arjuna. Why have these impurities come upon you? If those are not impurities, then Lord wouldn't have notified or told as impurities. That means selflessness on a material level is also not helping us. That means selflessness through an attachment. What is the selflessness through an attachment? See, mother is selfless, but she is attached to the son. The selflessness is perceived through that. That means don't that means we shouldn't we be attached to our son? What are you talking about? Shouldn't we be attached to our children? What are you talking about? We have to be attached to them through the attachment with Krishna. We're not leaving anything here. Please understand. All the relationships we are connecting through love. We're connecting through the words of the Acharyas. We are not blindly telling that, oh, this relationship is useless, that relationship. No, no, no. Every relationship is important. Because if we take care of every relationship, the real relationship is maintained. Say the child is not listening, or the daughter is not listening, or the son is not listening. That's good for us. Because through that, what is happening? We go internal. We find ways and means. We try to figure out a plan. Through that plan, we help them to be more Krishna conscious. See, if they are hearing, if they are doing Shravana, then most of the problems are removed. But if they are not doing Shravana, then all the problems begin there. Because the understanding, the plane or the notion which we are discussing, we are sharing, how can they understand it? For example, Duryodhana is also there. Arjuna is also there. Arjuna is hearing. Duryodhana is not hearing. Do you see a difference? Gulf of difference. Arjuna is coming to the state of surrender. That means he wants to do whatever Krishna says. Do you think that Duryodhana is in that state of surrender? No. Because why? He has no relation. He's not hearing. He has no understanding. That means he doesn't want to hear. Adamant. If this adamant nature is there to us or to any of our dependents, that's the greatest problem. Because adamant nature is there, no one can help in this world. No one. That's why, if that nature is there, it is good for us. For what? Take shelter. Depend more. Take the process as is. As is in the sense, exactly how Arjuna is actually taking. This is the whole point of this understanding. Arjuna is completely selfless, but now he is in grief. Please understand. Sanjay said, Arjuna have thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrow, and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Why is he in grief? He told so much now from the scriptures. Varna Shankara will be established. Varnashram Dharma is not there. That's where the problems are coming. If I kill elderly personalities, what's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to the next generation? Those are all very valid points now. And he's also telling, I'm speaking all of this from Guru Parampara only, from my superiors. That means he's actually following the Vedic literature. And he says that woman will be degraded because there's no husband, there's no higher authorities through which they can be taken care. If they are degraded, then the next generation will be degraded. The society will be degraded. Those are all very valid points. Everything is valid, then why grief is coming? Everything is from the scriptures, then why grief is coming? Because the root is missing. Because he's doing all of these things just to satisfy one attachment which he has. He's satisfying for that only. He's not doing for the pleasure of the Lord. Dear devotee, this is a $1 million statement actually, which our acharyas continuously reiterate. Continuously they tell this. See, Arjuna is also facing problems. What to speak of us? I always think about this. Personalities like Arjuna is going through these difficulties. What about us? Are we out of them? It is foolishness if we think that we are out of them. That's the greatest material, that is greatest Maya actually. The moment we think that I'm out of all these inabilities, it's Maya action. That is Maya action. Maya will tell that I'm not in Maya. That is a Maya. That is the greatness of Maya. She'll tell that we are not in that. She'll tell that we are not part of material nature because we are hearing now. She'll tell that we are in the internal energy. Who is telling that we are in the internal energy? Are we seeing the Lord right away? But it will tell, it will pursue. Through that, what it will do, it will increase our false pride. But Arjuna, that is the whole point Duryodhana is unable to understand. Why Duryodhana is not understanding? Because of false pride. Why this truth, these books are given to so many devotees, na? Why not everyone is surrendering? They don't know how to do, what to do. What is that surrender? Why they don't why they don't give their life? What is stopping? Attachments, aversions, attachments, so many things. That's why Prabhupada says that in the preface also he says this. He says, if at least one devotee becomes, my mission is success. Why? It's not like Prabhupada through. Let me read this. We hope, therefore, that people will derive the greatest benefit by studying Bhagavad Gita as is, as we have presented it here. And even if one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider our attempt a success. Means pure devotee is rare. Definitely it is rare. It's rare. Means taking this science as is completely difficult. Very rare to find. I don't see many. There are some attachment, some connection, somewhere connected. Because the person, it's not the problem of that person. It's not the problem. Because Jiva is here means through attachment only. Please understand. Life after life, we are here through attachment only. The attachment, the moment we left the spiritual world, that also attachment. That is spiritual. But the moment we left that spiritual attachment, material attachment here. That's why Arjuna, after speaking all of those things, still he is in grief. This grief is very big. That's why our attachments which we have here, those attachments have to be connected to the world. We should tell our children that I will not be there here forever. You need to understand. Your master is Krishna. Your well-wisher is the spiritual master. You should take their association. I'm just an instrument. Because today or tomorrow I'll die. You cannot be alone. You need to move on. Well, how do you move on? Then you take the real shelter. If you want to take the real shelter, you need to practice that real shelter from now. This no one is teaching to their children. Because everyone is teaching how to earn money. Are making a livelihood. Are cat dog is also doing a livelihood. That is no big deal. To get a job, to get a software job is not a big deal. To become this, that is not a big deal. To become a devotee is a big deal. That's why Prabhupada says, at least one pure devotee is difficult, it's rare. Taking the teachings as is difficult. Prabhupada says, my mission will be successful if at least one devotee becomes a pure soul. And if one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider our attempt a success. Means to come to that pure devotee stage is difficult. Very difficult. See here, Arjuna is a pure soul. But the moment he's been kept in this material realm, see how he is taking shelter of the Lord. This is the beauty of the pure souls. Srila Prabhupada, when he was kept in a difficult situation, what did he do? Was he crying or complaining? Or was he doing like this? Or was he engaged to the other persons? No. He's taking shelter of the Lord. That's what Arjuna is doing. Arjuna has a difficulty. He has a grief. He's a very difficult state. He has to kill his family members. That's why he's taking shelter of the Lord. Prabhupada says that this is the attitude because the difficulty is there. Why the difficulty is coming to take shelter? If there is no difficulty, we will never take shelter. Always think about this. Are yes, definitely. If everyone is is respecting us, is putting us on the king on the throne, do we ever practice Krishna conscious? For example, if husband, wife, children, they're all listening. Everything is, oh, mother, you're my mother, you're like Kunti Maharani. Let me offer, let me take the dust of your lotus feet. If they daily tell that, if they have that attitude, do we ever take Krishna conscious? No. That means children has to be like that only, so that we take more shelter. The family, if the family is like that, then only will take shelter. If there is a pressing from the background, then only will accept. If there is no pressing from the background, for example, if you're a project manager, or if you're a director, or if you're boss, if he's not pressing you from the background, do we work? If he says that that's okay, we'll do it next week. That's okay, we'll do it the week after. If he is like that, do we hear? Do we hear his words? No, we will not hear. If he is pressing from the background, then either we'll change the job or we'll begin to hear. This pressing from the material nature is good for us. It has to be there. They have to press us from the background. If they're not pressing from the background, then we will not take shelter, we will not surrender. If the Arjuna is not being pressed here, then will he come to that state of Karpanya Dashabha? No, he will not come. No, he is understanding why everything is nice. Likewise, through the process of Shravana, if we are not being pressed, then we think and feel we are realized that we are a pure soul. Like a self-realized. We behave like a self-realized person. But we are not. The person who is self-realized, his state is different. His vision is different, his perception is different, his thoughts, his thinking, his mentality, everything is different. So this has to be understood. Now that is the conclusion of chapter 1. That is the conclusion of chapter 1. Arjuna is in a very difficult state. He told everything. Didn't he told everything? He's explaining all his problems. Likewise, we also have problems. So many problems we have. This problem, that problems, all problems. Those problems are there for good. To take more shelter. To take shelter of Krishna and his followers. So when we take that shelter, the process of Shravana Kirtana, what is this chanting of Hare Krishna? It's a very beautiful process to take shelter. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What is that yielding? Great results. Now Arjuna will take that shelter. So we'll see how he'll take that shelter tomorrow from chapter 2. Hare, anyone would like to add anything? Actually, can I ask this to you? Can you do an assessment of chapter 1? Think about it. Think about the reflections. Think about how this helped chapter 1 in your life. And can you write a paragraph and share it to me? Can you do that? No, chapter 1 is almost completed.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please do that. Please do an assessment, reflection on chapter 1. And then see, what you learned from this. How Arjuna's situations helped us. What can we do? What can we learn through this? If you can write a paragraph, that would be great. Because why am I telling this is, dear devotees, when you write something, what is happening is you're beginning to think. Please understand. When you're writing, when you're putting on the paper, it's very practical. When you put on the paper, you begin to think. That thinking, what happens is, knowingly or unknowingly, you're going internal. Means you're meditating about that. You think about that continuously. When you think, what did I learn? What did I learn? Then Krishna will help you from the heart. Because he'll inspire. So we have learned 46 shlokas discussed. What did we understand? What are the qualities of, this is how you should think. I'm telling how to think also. What are the qualities of Duryodhana? What are the qualities of Arjuna? Why Duryodhana is fearful? Why is he kept in that state? Why, even though he has so many things, why is he still not happy? And how come Arjuna, before seeing the other side, his state is one. After seeing the other, the other side, his state is different. What can we learn through that? And correlate with our day-to-day activities. So that way, what am I trying to do is, we are trying to bring Krishna consciousness to our day-to-day activities. Because through that, what happens is, practically you'll experience the presence of the Lord. Because Lord is there, every moment is there. Not just through sloka, but he's there, he's being perceived. For that reason, I'm asking. So it will take few days and then put a message or a paragraph. That would be helpful. It will help you so much. Hare Krishna. So that way, what happens is, our understanding, our taking of the truth will be beneficial. Otherwise, if you're not thinking, if you're not internalizing, then this truth will never kick into our consciousness. Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to add quickly, quick reflections, quick sharings? I have a hard stop in few minutes. Yes, Amma. Mavina, please tell.
Hare Krishna. Uh, um, I wanted to talk, based on first chapter, even though I joined late at times, Prabhuji, so many things are running in behind my mind, behind my
Your voice
thoughts.
is very low. We cannot hear you.
No, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you be a
Can,
little louder?
oh, I'm louder. Can you hear, Prabhuji?
Yes, little. Please tell.
So, though I'm joining, delay with the first chapter, I was listening so many, while I'm listening this first chapter, Prabhuji, so there's so many thoughts are running very practically, which I'm facing. Probably I might need a really very genuinely thoughts how I can overcome. I mean, again, if I share anything with obviously if I share with devotees, obviously they would say, listening and chanting. Yes, absolutely agree with the divine, with the spiritual part. I totally understand, but the situations yesterday whole day, Prabhuji, can't, if you believe me, or if you, whole day I could not eat. I was totally out. I was thinking so much. Why am I facing so much? What is that karma I'm going through in this life? Why am I facing so much with these people, especially people who see? I came to this ISKCON not totally, but even I'm trying to involve just because there is so much of material outside and so much two-sided face. That is a world I understand, and I don't. I mean, it's hard to understand. It's hard to digest for me because I did not grow. My parents or my family, no matter what, I did not grow up like that. Like, manipulations, all the negativities. No, I did not grow up. No matter what, maybe that is my karma from the past life. I don't know what I'm facing right now. with this, with the keeping the strength myself, with that strong, I'm still going through. Why am I facing with these people so much again and again and again? More since it's been 3 2 3 years, I'm facing so much. The moment, if it is one person, okay, he was a very orally abusive, okay, no I mean, again, he abused me real literally. I want to bring this up, but there is so much of judgment even between the devotees. I sense a lot that, see, because of this person. And I'm not a back talker. I like to be straight no matter what everybody think. I don't mind, because if I lose the life, if I'm making any mistake, I'm ready to go to the god. I'm in that situation right now, but I see no help. This is very so much of emotion for me what I'm going through. See, how